I'm back with the review of the SEMKARCH SKC CNT1. It just stays there. Pretty good IM, to be honest, but let's start off with the cable. This is probably the only negative part of this, is this thick kind of rubbery chin slider, which works. But my worst part is this bit. It's like older KZ. It's got a metal memory wire in there. Because this is really stiff, I don't really like this. I prefer an aftermarket cable, like the nice HCK kind of cables. They've got a really soft. I'll show you one. Different earphone, but this is my Blon BL03s. So for example, see, it's got this. It's super soft. Here, from there to there. If that cable was something similar, you know, that'd be really good. MMCX connector, which is, I think I've said a few times, I prefer a T-pin. The left one is very hard to get off. So yeah, here's the left one. I found it very difficult to get off on a few occasions. I don't know why, but that's why I prefer a T-pin, because it's easier, and two, if it's wired out of phase, you can always just twist the cable around. Problem solved. So yeah, let's get the negative out of the way. Apart from that, the cable was okay. It's a straight connector. It's got the brand on it. It's a non-microphone cable. I would have preferred an angled connector because there's less chance of it breaking, but yeah, that's the cable. There's the Y split. Y split's okay. So chin slider works well, works fine. So let's get into these bad boys. So it comes with a bunch of tips. Got some in my hat here. I kind of like the Sony hybrid tips, small, medium, large tips. Decent tips, really. Comes with a carry case, which is decent quality. Obviously I've already opened these. It comes with 2 filters. These are quite critical. Decent case. Decent case, decent tips. Oops, my mistake. Okay, take these off. Filters are super easy to change. There we go. So yeah, before we get to the filters, so there's left, not vent. The nozzle's a decent length. It's a little bit longer than the blondes I reviewed before this. So tips aren't really a problem for this. It only comes with 2 sets of filters, the gold and these black ones. I would have preferred if there was a third, like a reference one. Then it's easy to, you know, establish, you know, if you want to buy it a signature or a base here one, but I'll get to it. So it's super easy, just take it off. Just unscrew it. That's it. If you can see the driver. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, MMCX. And I found there's with the filters, I didn't find there's massive differences. It's more subtle differences. So let's start with. I'll get imaging out of the way. With either filter, imaging was pretty good. Soundstage was pretty good, not amazingly so, but you know, they don't feel congested and nothing like that. So let's get to bass. I found with the black filter compared to the gold one, the black filter had more. It had more mid bass. Had a little bit more mid bass, not massively more, but a little bit more mid bass compared to the gold filters. If you look through the nozzles, you can't really tell on camera, but through the nozzle they look pretty much the same. So maybe the metal is a different entity, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, and then the sub bass was a touch more with the gold filter. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'll go over that again. With the black filter, it had slightly more mid bass and slightly less sub bass. This is all slight, bear in mind, than the gold one. Mids, I found the mids pretty similar with either filter. I find compared to the blondes, which I'll do a comparison video next, I think these are a little bit more coloured. They might be a little bit more natural sounding, but I need to listen to them back to back. But I'll do that for the next video. So I think the mid was pretty the same. Really quite clear mids. These are quite fun sounding. Bear in mind as well. Yeah, so mids pretty much, I thought, my opinion, pretty similar. And then the treble, which is where this is probably the biggest difference. Using the gold filters, I think it increased the treble a little bit. Even with the brighter treble, I mean it's subtle, slightly brighter treble. These aren't sibilant at all, and the blondes probably have more treble, so these aren't sibilant whatsoever. Compared to probably the usual BA sets you get on all the V-shaped sounds, they've got more treble than these. These aren't treble heavy like at all, but they're not veiled. Is probably the best way to describe it. See, another small, so it's quite shape. Say comfort, I had no issues with comfort because it's quite a small shape. So it's carbon nanotube like the blondes. So the bass, mids, treble. Well, what else can I say really? If you can find these, I recommend them. They're kind of harder to find. Allegedly these have been discontinued, so you may or may not find them on AliExpress. Probably maybe on Amazon, eBay. Is it Tobo? If it's the correct pronunciation. They're still available on there, but these have more of a fun sound signature. You know, they're a little bit coloured, but I like these a lot. Like with the blondes, I like them equally. They're both a little bit different, but they're both good, both decent. So let's pick the other one up. Yeah, I would have preferred if you only probably just said the L&R. The SEMKARCH is a bit big, but these share a very similar shape to the Monoprice MP80s, which I do own, but the filters don't fit. So I was thinking that they could have been made in the same, the same factory. Plus the Monoprice have 3 filters. But I may or may not review them. They've been out for a while. I'm not quite sure yet. But yeah, I do recommend these. So yeah, fun sound signature, decent sound stage, pretty good imaging. These can be the star of the show with these. I'd say is the low end. These can be right bass monsters. If you like electronic music like I do with trance, these pump harder than the blondes do. If you're a bass head, you'll like these. But they do have good mids, treble. It's just the bass. I think the bass is more the star of the show with these, and the interchangeable filters. But yeah, they just add a little bit more detail, in my opinion, from what you can tell. And the slight difference with the bass. And any songs with vocals was quite clear. Probably male vocals was probably a little bit more clear, because I think the mids are a little bit thicker than the obviously the treble, where the more the female voices are. And I'm out. Yeah, I recommend these, and my next video will be these versus the blondes. So Blon BL03s. So dynamic versus dynamic should be a good battle, because they both perform really well. So I recommend these, and I'm out. See you guys at the next video.